4つになります。
はい。おお。
はい、アイテムね、何かというと、サイファー現在4人なんです。
What's up guys, Stevie here with Lucky Crit. Launching today worldwide is a new pack of Fire Emblem Echoes DLC from the Fire Emblem Cipher card game collaboration. This new pack of DLC will include 2 new maps, Cipher Legends 1 and 2, with 2 new playable characters each, to add to your current roster. The DLC also includes brand new support conversations between these character pairs, and base conversations for each. It's very likely that these conversations will be fully voiced just like the ones already found in the game, which is a nice touch. These 4 brand new characters are original characters that were created for the Fire Emblem Cipher card game, which is popular in Japan. Their names are Emma, Randall, Yuzu, and Shade. They're all pre-promoted units, with Emma as a Falcon Knight, Randall as a Paladin, Yuzu as a Priestess, and Shade as a Saint. There are also new exclusive items that can be received during the first completion of the DLC chapters: the Trainee's Lance for Emma, the Wayward Lance for Randall, and the Warrior's Sword for Yuzu. These brand new characters will also have exclusive arts and spells within the game, some of which we haven't seen before. It's definitely another enticing reason to pick these characters up. Each map will cost approximately $3.99, or you can buy the pack, which includes both, for $5.99, and the maps have a difficulty rating of 2 stars. Cipher Legends 1, The Lost Girl and the Vagabond, will feature Emma and Randall, and Cipher Legends 2, The Dark Saint and the Swordswoman, will feature Shade and Yuzu. Thanks to Serenus Forest, we have even more information about these characters, so let's take a look at these new units. Emma is the apprentice Sky Knight who will join your team as a Falcon Knight. She's a 13-year-old apprentice Sky Knight who's aiming to become a fully fledged knight. She's cheerful and energetic and ever eager to learn new things from Shade and the others, although she's easily influenced. She debuted in Fire Emblem Cipher as a Hoshiden Sky Knight and is always represented in some form of flying class. After promoting to a Kinshi Knight, she then became a Falcon Knight and a Dark Flyer before rotating between Falcon Knight and Dragon Master. Emma is definitely off to a great start. Her growths are pretty great across the board. When comparing her to other Pegasus Knights, she'll probably have a bit less speed than Claire and potentially attack too, but Emma will likely turn out a bit less frail with some more HP. She's pretty much everything that S wishes she could be, but without the investment required to make her good, and she has an actual resistance growth too. She'll likely be less durable and powerful than Palla, but a bit faster, and she's about on par with Catria. Her weapon, the Trainee's Lance, has really great hit at 100%, and can teach her the solo triangle attack ability, which, like it says in the name, allows her to attack 3 times. It's akin to Hunter's Volley and Double Lion, and though the might of the weapon isn't amazing alongside Emma's subpar attack, this could definitely be an incredible weapon to have in your arsenal. In terms of using the Villager's Fork or Pitchfork on her, her spell list is generic, so don't get your hopes up trying to make her into a mage with a niche role. Randall is the Vagabond Knight who will join you as a Paladin. Joining Cipher in Series 5, Randall is a knight without a liege, wandering from town to town and battlefield to battlefield. He refers to himself as a bad knight and is a bit of a wild card. Still, he's very knowledgeable when he wants to be. Initially a cavalier in the card game, Randall has also appeared in the guise of a paladin or great knight. Unlike the other mascots, he physically ages between his appearances in Blazing Blade where he's younger and Binding Blade where he's a bit older. Randall is pretty outstanding as a unit. Out of all the cavaliers in the game, he's pretty much on track to be the best, and that's saying something considering we've already got units like Zeke and Matilda who are great to begin with. He also requires no investment to be good, so that's something to consider. He starts off 4 levels higher than Matilda, and his stats are pretty on par with hers, but his growths are a bit better for the most part. He's also got higher starting resistance than Zeke, who comes as a Gold Knight, which will serve to be useful. His biggest drawback is his exceptionally low luck, but things could definitely be a lot worse. Regardless of which army you recruit him in, he'll definitely put in some work, though that might result in other cavaliers seeming a bit more lackluster or getting benched. Like his personality, Randall's Wayward Lance gives a nice plus 20 to crit, with some less than stellar hit at 70%. The learned ability, Heaven or Hell, further accentuates this trend, with a minus 30 to hit and plus 30 to crit for 2 consecutive attacks. Randall also has a generic spell list, so no hidden clutch utility spells here either. Next up, Shade is the Dark Saint that will join your army as the Saint class. She's a dark magic user, known to some as the Teacher of the Black Shadow. She's the alluring big sister type and is generally calm and collected, unless someone unknowingly pokes fun at her or tries to steal her thunder. First appearing in Fire Emblem Cipher as a dark mage, she's also dabbled with various magic-based classes such as Sage, Bishop, and Witch. Despite her affinity for magic, she has worked as a maid for Nor and a Falcon Knight over in Yggdrasil. Shade has a pretty cool kit, and keeping up with the trend, some pretty great growths too. She gets access to Nosferatu, Silence, and Physic right off the bat, with Freeze, Seraphim, and Rescue being learned later, which allows her to be a nice toolbox of spells on the go. She's the third unit in the game to get access to Rescue, with Faye as a cleric and Atlas as a mage being the only other original units able to learn it. Seraphim will obviously be great against all the enemy terrors, but aside from that, she'll have a bit more of a utility role, providing freezes, silences, and heals. Her average attack won't exactly provide huge ranges for the spells, but she can definitely help out on Alm's route if you have Faye pick a class other than cleric, and she'll definitely be another backup healer on Celica's route alongside Jenny. She might also turn out a bit more durable than units like Silk and Jenny, with her nice 45% defense growth and decent starting HP. Her kit is pretty much on par alongside Faye as a cleric, but she won't require that initial investment that Faye will require to be good. Overall, she's pretty great. And lastly, Yuzu is the Violet Myrmidon that will join your army as a priestess. Joining Cipher in Series 3, Yuzu is a Hoshidan samurai traveling the lands. She has trained in the arts of combat from an early age and is keen to prove her skills. While she's well versed in combat, she can be a little socially awkward. After a brief stint as a samurai, she's appeared in a variety of weapon-based classes, such as the Swordmaster, Hero, Sniper, Master Ninja, and Dreadfighter. Her true calling appears to be the path of the sword, though. Yuzu's in an interesting spot. I was wondering what would happen with her myself once I heard the announcement, as she's supposed to be a sword wielder for the most part, but since the mercenary line is male only in Echoes, they had to make her into a priestess. Her spells are generic, aside from Sagittae, which might prove useful, but overall, unfortunately, Yuzu is just about the worst of the DLC characters. Her growths are actually pretty great, but her 4 movement is really going to hinder her, especially if you recruit her on Celica's route. She's sort of a glass cannon in terms of her bases and growths combo, like May, Delphia, and some of the other units we've already gotten, but her good attack and speed and access to Sagittae might allow you to find a use for her on the front lines, able to deal some potent damage and double enemies. She won't be able to take much of a beating though, and you might want to consider using a pair of boots on her if you really like her. Her warrior sword has a nice built-in crit plus 20 and teaches her the armor disruptor ability, which will allow her to deal effective damage against armor units. If you haven't transferred a rapier to Alm's route through the peddler, this might be a good way to deal with some of the armor units that he'll face. Depending upon which main character you're controlling at the time you play the maps, the characters recruited from it will join that corresponding army. So with the 2 separate maps and characters, which map should Alm play, and which map should Celica play? Whose path are some of these characters better for? Well, Celica doesn't really need any more mages, and she's got enough sword users too, so unless you want another saint in her army, then I'd suggest Cipher Legends 2 with Shade and Yuzu go to Alm. However, Alm would also benefit from having another Pegasus Knight with Emma, but he has plenty of Cavaliers, so Randall doesn't really seem necessary. Another Pegasus Knight might also end up helping Celica a lot due to the tricky terrain maps throughout her campaign, and she doesn't get many Cavaliers at all, so I'm going to recommend having Cipher Legends 1 with Emma and Randall go to her. Those who bought the Fire Emblem Cipher Series 9 starter pack in Japan also got a special code to receive 4 in-game items, which are accessories based off of these Cipher mascots. The items are Emma's Hard Worker's Ribbon, Shade's Black Crescent Moon, Yuzu's Warrior's Warding Bell, and Randall's Vagabond's Hairclip. Unfortunately, since we don't have Fire Emblem Cipher in the West, it doesn't seem likely that we'll be getting these items unless they do some sort of other promotion. Regardless of who goes where, it's definitely exciting to see some new characters being added to Echoes, and honestly we'll probably end up seeing them in Fire Emblem Heroes someday soon too. That's going to wrap up today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to slash the thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode or learned anything new, comment Echoes in the comment section, and also let me know if you plan on snagging these maps and characters. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet so you can stay up to date on our content, and for behind the scenes information and news revealed on the fly, follow us on Twitter at LuckyCritGaming. And I'll see you all next time.